Hi everyone, welcome to Wawiwa's webinar about bridging the tech skills gap in Europe, how reskilling can address the IT talent shortage. Thank you for joining us today in this webinar with our two esteemed speakers, Nuno Rosado, CEO of TechOff, and Eran founder and CEO of Wawiwa. So before we start this webinar, at Wawiwa, we're reskilling the world to tech. Wawiwa is a global tech education provider which bridges the tech skills gap by establishing local tech training centers and programs with partners around the world. We have established partnerships in 5 continents, including several countries in Europe. An example of our partners is TechOff in Portugal, a Wawiwa-powered tech training center located in Lisbon. At TechOff, students can reskill to tech in just a few months to become full-stack developers, front-end developers, data analysts, and digital marketers without any previous tech background. Nuno Rosado and Eran will discuss how reskilling and upskilling can help bridge the tech skills gap, the role of generative AI in transforming the workforce, and the steps universities and training centers can take to meet the growing demand. So before we begin, let me introduce you to Odette Israeli, Wawiwa's CMO, who will present some findings about Europe's tech talent shortage.
Thank you, Odette. So before we begin, maybe let's discuss what is this big tech skills shortage that we're seeing in Europe. According to the European Commission, in order for the European economy to develop properly, there's a need for 20 million employed individuals in the tech sector. That's the information and communication technology sector. So the European Commission is targeting 20 million employed individuals. But when you look at the statistics on how many people are actually employed in the tech sector in Europe and how many are expected to be employed by 2030, you see that according to all projections, there's going to be only 12 million people in that sector. And that leaves Europe with a demand for 8 million more people to work in the tech sector, unfilled jobs that are still waiting for talent. And there are still, a couple of years in order to fill this tech shortage. 75% of employers report already now in 2024 about difficulties in finding talent for the tech jobs they currently offer. So that's a big shortage that is already evident across Europe already now. And if you go to specific statistics in various European countries, you see that all countries in Europe are affected by the tech skills shortage. So for example, in Sweden, there are 70,000 unfilled jobs in the IT sector. In Germany, the percentage of employers that report such difficulty in finding talent is even higher than the European average at 82%. Norway is seeking 10,000 software developers, and Spain is looking for 30,000 cybersecurity professionals. And in Portugal, where we'll hear Nuno tell us about the local Portugal economy, 85% of employers struggle to hire adequate tech talent. So the demand for tech talent is a big one. And as we will discuss in this webinar, I hope, there's a lot of incentives to go into tech, even if you're coming from completely different professions. For example, if you compare the median salary in different countries to the average salary of a software developer, you'll see that you can earn much more working in tech. So for example, software developers in Germany earn 80% more, 90,000 euros a year in comparison to the median salary of 50,000. In Italy, 71% higher salary as a software developer. And in Portugal, 92% increase in the median salary from a median salary of 25,000 euros in general for all professions to 48,000 euros for a software developer. So we see that there is a big tech skills shortage, and now the question becomes, how do we address it? And for that, we have Nuno and Eran with us.
Thank you very much, Oded. And Nuno and Eran, can you please introduce yourselves?
Hello, my name is Nuno. I'm on the tech industry for the last 25 years. I've been from developer to project manager and CIO. For the last 15, 17 years, I've been involved on training businesses of English language, creating teams and collaborating on CRM systems to drive business and technology agendas forward. For the past 2 years, I've been at TechOff, where our mission resonates with a big belief that in technology is a catalyst that for inclusion and empowerment. As co-founder and CEO at TechOff, my focus has been fostering strategic partnerships like our collaboration with Wawiwa to grow and offer tech talents in the Portuguese tech industry.
Thank you, Nuno. And Eran? Hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for this webinar. So, my name is Eran Lasser. I'm in the tech business for the last 25 years. As Nuno said, originally, I'm a programmer, software developer, but then I shifted to tech training, which is the thing that I love the most. And I've been involved in the tech training all over the world for the last 25 years. I've been involved in training activities in the United States, in the UK, in China, in Ukraine, in Israel, and many more. Established and headed one of the largest training centers in Europe, which called John Bryce, and Mentorgy in the States. And throughout the years, I was involved in reskilling to tech of more than 50,000 people, which is a lot, working a lot with governments, thinking how to change and how to be much more effective in the reskilling concept in each and every country.
Amazing. Thank you, Eran. So, as Oded explained, there is a huge tech skills shortage in Europe. So, Eran, what do you believe are the reasons for this tech skills shortage?
So, first of all, I just want to say that the tech shortage is everywhere. Whenever I travel, whoever I meet is complaining about the skill shortage. And we see it in Europe as well as in the States, in Canada, in the Pacific. And the reason for this is the rush that organizations are now doing in the last few years to tech. It was accelerated in the COVID time. And right now, I think everyone is rushing to be in the e-commerce, to have their ERP and CRM apps. Everyone needs to analyze data. Everybody needs to understand what's going on with the cyber attacks. So the demand for tech professional is everywhere. But the other hand, there is not enough professionals in the market, not at all. And the reason for this is first that I think that over the world, there is not enough graduates of high school with STEM emphasis. And then it goes to the universities and colleges. There is not enough people who learns in universities and colleges engineering and computer science. And at the end of the day, it takes in universities 3 to 4 years to graduate, and the tech sector needs it and needs the graduates right now. And this is in fact, the motivation for our job is to reskill people to tech, and we are trying to do this effectively and within the time frame that organizations can benefit within a year and not within 4 years.
Mhm. I see. Thank you, Eran. So, Nuno, Let's bring this into a more regional context, perhaps. How is the tech skill shortage affecting Portugal?
Um, as Eran was saying, I think this is a little global, as already Eran said, but we have the same concept. There's a significant tech shortage here also, and I do believe that has also to do with the fast pace of digitalization, mainly of industry here in Portugal, because a lot of industries are now changing they're doing the digital transformation. So this really involves everything related with data, everything related with development, and of course with these two, you always have the cybersecurity component apart from this. And just to give you some numbers here in Portugal, from some of the statistics, it's even expected to see a 15% increase of demand of software developers during this year and next year. The biggest impact that I see here is also on recruitment and hiring costs, because this makes the salaries also increase. And that's another thing also, which is not having enough tech talent in Portugal kind of forces the Portuguese companies to go outside and hire international tech talent, also affecting the the shortage on the other countries.
I see. Thank you, Nuno. And Eran, building on that, are there any differences between European countries in terms of the tech job requirements and training?
So I think that when you're talking about differences between the countries, it comes basically to the fact whether a country is much more suitable to hire juniors. And the hiring of juniors is a challenge. I think that Nuno will refer to this as well, because Portugal is a country that actually knows how to deal with juniors. And when we see the differentiation between countries regarding hiring juniors, it means whether the country is have a lot of software houses, as an example, or do they have a mature tech segment? In these countries, you see that the ability of companies to hire juniors are much better than countries that doesn't have a lot of software sectors, active software sector. And this is crucial for the programs that we are running. We are dealing with reskilling. Reskilling, it means that you take a person who doesn't necessarily has know-how in computer profession, and within 6 to 12 months in evening study or a daily study, in a very very hands-on approach, it becomes a junior programmer, junior data analytics, junior cyber analyst, etc. But then you have to find this guy to place him in a job, and the ability of a company to deal with juniors makes the difference between the countries. Um, Another angle is to see whether the country has a mature apprenticeship model. And there are countries that actually has their apprenticeship models integrated into their studying, into their systems. Germany is a very good example. UK is a very good example. And Israel has a very good example as well. These countries knows how to take a person as a junior and integrate them into the work to be effective in a minimum amount of time and effort. Another angle that I want to emphasize is about the ability of a university to actually produce uh, juniors or graduates that are effective to the market. And this comes to the fact whether there is alignment of the syllabus and the curriculum of the university, of the degrees, with the needs of the tech industry. And we do have some partners which are universities. When we are bringing our know-how of the tech industry and what the tech industry needs in their specific country, and then integrate this syllabus into their studying to produce highly effective juniors that can be productive almost immediately when they find a job.
Okay, thank you, Eran. Okay, we can understand that there's a huge need for tech talent, but no, what would make people actually reskill to tech?
I think one of the underlying subjects here, and I think it's probably one of that is on the top of the mind of everyone, was already shown by Oded, which is the salary. It's going from a non-tech to tech job, as you can see in Portugal, can go up to more 92% of the income. So that's really, I think it's a big driver to everyone. That's one thing. Another thing that it's very interesting that Eran said, it's about this culture of juniors. So companies are they're shifting this mentality of the you need to have STEM with higher degrees and to actually hire people to go to the tech industry. This is changing in Portugal. That's one of the things that we're seeing. And that's another thing, not only the salary, of course, that helps going to tech, but also because there's a lot of awareness now in Portugal on this digital transformation that people, even when they are in jobs that they're not the biggest, they don't have this biggest gap, they still going to tech because they believe that the future is in the tech world, in tech jobs. So you can see these two worlds going on, which is salary. Of course, it's very important, but also a way of changing their professional lives to something that is more up to date with the needs of the country slash world slash all the tech industry.
Thank you, Nuno. And Eran, with those factors in mind, whose job is it to fix the tech skill shortage in Europe?
So I think that there is three options to see a change. I think that the first initiative should come from governments. And actually, I had few projects, very interesting projects with governments to change the tech skills shortage in countries. And governments usually can subsidize a lot. And when we are talking about subsidize, there are two angles to the subsidize. The first one, and I think the trivial one, is to subsidize the study. And there is a lot of governments throughout Europe and in the world who subsidize the actual program. Okay, it can be by giving a very attractive loans. It can actually subsidize the program. Maybe Nono can refer to Portugal, but from my experience, there is a lot of incentives in this sense of subsidizing the program tuition. But the second level is much more challenging, is to subsidize the salaries of the juniors. And this is much more sophisticated approach. It means that to try and integrate the juniors into the job market, which is not trivial, as we said, it's not trivial to get a junior into a company and ask him to be productive in a very short time. So some of the countries are actually having some kind of plans that subsidize some or most or all of the salary of the junior for few months. And this is a very good incentive for companies to hire juniors and to get them into job. Again, I will refer to Germany to the UK, to England, to France, to Israel for examples that I've been involved in of incentives of either subsidizing the program tuition and or the salaries. So this is the first option is to ask the government to make a change. By the way, one of the projects that I've been involved is working with the government that we've done a project of training to tech and then establishing a software company, get them until 200 people and then hand it to the government. It was like a BOT project. I don't know if you know these kind of projects. Okay, you build it, operate it for 2 3 years, and then transfer it to the government. It was an amazing project that we were involved. The second option, and is very nice one, is that organizations can actually make the change. And when I'm talking about organizations, I can give you two examples. One of them is a project that I've been involved in Europe with a bank, one of the leading banks that actually established a software, a tech training center within the bank premises, and he actually launched three programs: software development, digital marketeers, and data analytics. Now, these three projects, these three programs, actually was delivered by us in the bank, and the bank was hiring the best of the class. About 30% of graduates have been employed by the bank. The other 70% were actually given to the market, and it was a very nice social impact project that the bank actually done in the market, and it was amazing. It's still running after 3 years of establishment. Very nice project, hundreds of graduates. The second one, as an example, is a software development uh, company, which the software development company actually established a training center that can utilize the market of uh, 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 students getting into the class, and then the software development center actually hire the best in class, and then all the others can go to the free market. So this example actually was the company that I was established 20 years ago, John Bryce, which was part of Matrix, one of the largest software vendors in Europe, and it was amazing. Okay, we were the largest one in our country. Okay, a third option, again, coming back to the university, university can be part of the change as well. University can implement a tech training programs within their degree, and we will talk about this, I think, later again. But they can do this amazingly. They can blend the tech programs that we offer and others are offers. Okay, and these programs can be very beneficial to the public and can make an impact. We've started this one kind of this project with one of the leading universities. We've tripled the number of students in these degrees within 2 years. Okay, just to give you an understanding about the potential of this kind of programs. So to summarize, three options that can make a change in a market: the government, universities, and organizations that establish tech training centers.
Okay, thank you very much, Eran, for this. And Nuno, which tech professions do you believe are most in demand in Portugal?
Okay, in Portugal, the most in demand are software developers. Inside of the software developers, we're talking about full stack, backend, front end. The language skills basically are on Python, Java, JavaScript, and then with all the frameworks of React, Angular, Node.js. These are being used more on companies of fintech, insurtech, telecommunications, and e-commerce, and also there's some trend now on blockchain software developers. So there's a lot of demand again on software developers for different things that it was in the past, which is very curious. Data scientists and data analysts, again, this is one of the biggest trends also. It's growing. Companies are really prioritizing the data driven decision making, and we can see that in the needs of most of our students, because most of them are either coming from the financial area inside of the companies to grow and stay inside of the company as data analysts, or because they already have some interest in this area and now they want to go full in this area. Although we still have some people that comes from the outside, completely outside of the technology to do this. But on data scientists, there's a lot of skills here, also related with Python. That's a good thing about Python. There's also a lot of database. AI is also growing a lot to integrate in all the systems that the companies have. So this really calls to data analysts. Then we have the cybersecurity specialist, analyst, and for all the reasons that we know, they're also growing. The need is growing just because each company needs to have at least some in-house protection or people that can help them. And I will say finally, cloud computing engineers. I'm talking about DevOps, which is again it's more of the same. We're talking about servers and adopting cloud-based solutions. So I'll believe that these are the four in Portugal more in demand: software, data, cyber, and cloud computing.
Thank you, Nuno. And Eran, do you have any insights on the demand worldwide?
Yeah, so I think it will correlate to Nuno perspective. I think there is always a demand for software developers, front end, full stack. Specifically, by the way, when you're talking about software development, there is a need now, and we see a need now for Python. Okay, so there is a shift for Python, which gain momentum. It's not new, but we see it just happening. Data is amazing. And by the way, from the point of view of recruitment as well, data is now one of the top hottest career in the job market. So this is, by the way, my recommendation to all of my friends who consult me about their sons and daughters. I'm saying data is a good one. It's a good one, and you don't need to have a logical abilities. It's a good fit. Okay, this is the data. By the way, there is a demand now which is starting, and we will see it growing on machine learning. Companies will want to shift their stuff into understanding what is machine learning and how to use AI as a software developers. And we will see this shift as well. There is a constant demand for cyber, and we will see it growing. Everybody knows that there is a lot of cyber attacks, so there is a demand to cyber in organizations. And I think as time passes, a lot of organizations understands that they need to have their own SOC, security operating centers, okay, and need to employ people, and they will shift people from IT into SOCs. This will be a trend that we believe it will happen. And there is a constant demand for DevOps, of course, digital marketeers, etc. But again, the top three: software, data, machine learning, and AI, and of course, cyber is the fourth one.
Thank you, Eran. And in your opinion, given the need for tech talent, what is the future of higher education in Europe?
So the higher education actually is something that everybody is trying to understand where does it goes. Now we have a very straight answers. You need to align the higher education, the academic degrees to the market needs. And in Wawiwa, we have a methodology that we establish in all of our centers, advisory committee. An advisory committee is something that we are doing together with top tech professionals from the market, together with us and together with the university or the training center. Now, this is the way that you can understand what's going on in the market. And to understand what's going on in the market gives you the ability to tailor the tech program into the actual needs that you see in the specific market, and to give the junior, the graduates, a fair chance to get a job in the market and be effective. Now, our programs actually are fit to be part of the academic degree. It's not only as a supplement, which is an option. You can have it as a supplement, but we're thinking ahead. We think that the tech programs, the tech reskilling programs that actually we offer, can be integrated into the actual degree. It can replace old versions, academic versions of courses that are not needed anymore in the market. And this is what we think that the higher education actually is going to be. Of course, there is the option of offering short courses as well, which will be for the upskilling purpose, for lifelong purpose. Higher education can offer these courses as well to the public, to the alumni, etc. And there is the option of offering a tech program like a boot camp as a supplement. You finish your academic degree in the old, what we call the old version, and then you've put the tech program that we offer as a supplement or a boot camp that maybe can be priced more, or and anyhow it is on top of the academic degree. Coming back to my first sentence, we believe that the tech programs that we offer will be integrated into the academic degree as a whole.
Mhm. Thank you, Eran. And now, Nuno, can you give us some examples of people reskilling to tech? Like, which professions do they come from? Do they have any prior tech experience?
Um, we've been training people into tech for the last almost 2 years, 1 year and a half, a little bit more than 1 year and a half. And what I can tell you at this moment is about 80 to 85% of our graduates, they did reskilling. So they came from all type of sorts of other type of professions. I'll give you examples like veterinarian, nurses, for example, civil engineering also. So there's a big array of people that really want to reskill to tech at this moment, and I do believe this is more because of all this digital transformation going on, and some of them see that again benefit of salaries, of course, but also a new way of working, kind of aligned with the technologies needed that that the market needs. So more than 80% at this moment from our students, they did reskilling, and they came from a lot of different concepts. And by the way, they can actually be a junior, and they can actually start working in a company. Okay, 6 to 9 months later. Okay, this is doable. We've seen it happen, and this is one of our mission also at the end of the training is to make sure they are able to get their employability um, in a way that they keep the new job in the tech. Okay, so yes, it's happening and it's doable to anyone, regardless the age.
Okay, so anyone can reskill to tech.
Exactly.
No, as we said, the phrasing is, it is never too late to reskill to tech, right?
Exactly. You're right.
It's never too late to reskill to tech, right? This is it. Yeah. By the way,
And
Odette, just to give you another angle, throughout the years, I think that most of my friends from different professions have been reskilled to tech. lawyers, a lot of finance guys, marketing guys, all of them are skilled to tech. And again, by the way, it's not necessarily to software development. People are mistaken to think that when we're talking about skill to tech, we're talking about software developers, and they are afraid and say, no, 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 I am not a software developer. Algorithmics is not for me. I will not sit all day, in a dark room and doing coding. This is not the case. This is only 10%. Okay, the other 90% are data analytics, product management, UI, UX, digital marketeers, cyber analysts, DevOps guys, etc., etc. All of these programs gives an option for everyone to reskill to tech. Everyone from any profession that is doing. Sales guys are perfect to reskill to tech. They can be in data, they can be in product, they can do, by the way, in sales to tech, etc., etc. But this
So
is not
everyone can
yeah,
reskill to
but
tech,
was not the question. Okay.
and there's a huge variety as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Nuno, one more question. A very current question. So, how might emerging technologies like generative AI change the skills needed in Europe over the next few years? And how do you train for AI, for artificial intelligence?
Okay, I think that the most important aspect of this is it's the awareness. Okay, it's a tool like any other tool that we have on the tech world. And one of the good things that we have with all of our programs is it's built-in generative AI based on the type of program you're going to learn how to work with those tools. If it's for example, for development, you'll have specific ways of learning how to prompt engineering to get the code that you need and help you on the most recurrent tasks that you need to do. For example, if you go, as Eran was saying, for UX UI, you have another option there, like setting up CVs on AI with Canvas, for example, or even with Mid Journey and generating image and amazing images. So when you go to data, for example, you have the exact same thing. You have ChatGPT working with you, so you can get data. You can even import data inside of ChatGPT, for example, to get some insight of their data and mix it with internet, for example. So there's an array of options here that are built on in all the programs that generate that awareness and even give a little bit of confidence to people to actually start using these tools on a better way and more productive.
Okay,
I on that I would add, by the way, the Gen AI is an ability that anyone should have. Okay. Now it means that, from my perspective, a youngster should learn how to use Gen AI, I guess from the age of 8, 9, 10, maybe. Okay, like using Word or using Google on the internet. This, and my belief that this will be the case. By the way, in the all our programs and in the academic institutions that I'm involved in, Gen AI is a compulsory course that will be given on the first year of the study. Okay, how to use Gen AI. Now, when you are a programmer, when you're learning UI UX, as Nuno said, etc., then you have to learn how to implement Gen AI in your specific job. This is something that will be taught throughout the time. Okay, this is not a thing that you should learn immediately. Okay, he knows the bread. He has to know the bread and butter. But then he had to know how to use Gen AI in their specific job.
thank you. Thank you, Eran. Now let's see if our audience has any questions. I see a question here from Wolfgang in Germany. In Europe, academic degrees are free, paid by the government, but tech training costs a lot of money. What can be done to encourage people to reskill?
So again, it depends on the specific country, and in some of the cases, in some of the countries, even the tech training in the private institutions are subsidized. So I'm not aware of the specific situation in Germany, but even in France, in UK, in Israel, Nuno can refer to Portugal, there are programs of subsidizing reskilling to tech programs in private institutions. Okay, but again, I'm not aware of the situation in Germany.
From our side here in Portugal, one of the things that we emphasize is this is not a cost, this is an investment. Okay, it's very, very important. People are investing in their career, in their new career. I understand that sometimes can be daunting when you, for example, like in Germany, where you have free academic courses, and then slowly you have to pay something for, which is a high price. It's true, but the return of investment is, I think it's easy to understand and faster to get it. But yes, that's one of the things that we really emphasize in Portugal. This is all about investment on each student's life to go to the tech industry, which, as we saw in all the charts, pays off really
Yeah,
fast.
yeah. I will add to this regarding the ROI on training because of the differences, the huge differences between the salaries. Usually, when you're talking about ROI, it will take you about 2 to 3 months to pay it. Okay, to pay the tuition of the course. So when people are actually looking at the price of the programs and put it against the salaries, the expected salaries after finding a job as a junior, it will pay very, very fast. Usually 2 to 3 months, it will pay.
Well, thank you. And we have another question from Alicia in France. She's asking, is English needed to work in tech? What can I do if my English is not that good?
No, no, please. You're from the English as well.
Yes, I again, as I said, I was on the I'm on the training business for more than a decade, and yes, it's been more related with English than with tech. Tech has been recent, but the courses, the programs, usually all the technology is in the English. There's nothing we can do about it. Okay, although some countries like France, I know that they translate, like the Microsoft is translated to France, but at the end of the day, this type of technologies, they are in English. So it's good to have a certain level of English also. Although honestly, to take one of these courses, if the teacher is French, it will help a lot to actually get to the end of the course. But that's something very important here. Most of these of the tools, the systems, they are in English. So yes, it's an important piece, but it's not, as I say, it's not a showstopper. Okay, the English is not a showstopper, but it really helps to have a good level of English.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me add from our experience, usually the training can be in the local language. Okay, and I think even in Nuno's premises,
Yeah, it's all
the,
in
the trainer
Portuguese.
the trainer is local in Portuguese, right?
Exactly.
In our activity in France, by the way, the activity is being done in local language, uh, but usually materials, okay, are technical English, what we called technical English. You have to be a software developer. You need to understand technical English, as Nuno referred. But again, the training can be in a local language.
Thank you. Thank you. Nuno and Eran, do you have any additional comments?
Nuno, please.
Um, I think we're going through a very interesting times. To me, training is a very noble job. Okay, because we're dealing with people's expectation. We're managing people's expectation, and this speed that the world is changing, and there's a lot of new job roles appearing, really, and always connected with tech, do making all the other jobs a little bit more obsolete, one or the other, and this really give us the possibility to improve lives, not only on the traditional way, because that's what we were talking about, not only on the university part or with government fundings, but also with these tech training companies that also creates a new thing to me, which is the inclusive way. We can actually now empower people that they needed to have, like Eran was saying, STEM courses, right? STEM degrees. Now we can actually empower people to go from non-tech jobs to tech jobs in less time, first of all, and that can consolidate that knowledge and then grow inside of this industry. And to me, that's the most important thing. We are empowering people to continue to be relevant in a, let's say, a known future, because we really don't know what type of jobs we'll have in the future, but certainly will be related with tech. That's something that we all know. And yes, that's why to me it's a very noble thing that we're doing, and I do believe in this on the tech training concept and all the partnership that we can do with the tech industry.
Thank you. Eran, you wanted to say something or no?
Yeah, just to say, for me, I'm a strong believer that anyone can be reskilled to tech. And this is my belief. This is what I'm doing for years. Nuno, my friend, is our partner in Portugal. We demonstrate that the ability to start a new venture and to make an impact on a market, and we are just starting together. We will make amazing things together in Portugal. We are making a lot of things, amazing things throughout the world, and specifically in Europe. We can work with universities, training centers, vocational training centers to establish a tech training centers almost instantly and start registering. So thank you very much, Odette. Thank you, Odette, and thank you, Nuno, for your time spent with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Odette. Thank you, Eran. Thank you to everyone. Okay.
Thank
See
you.
you guys.
This webinar will be available on Wawiwa's YouTube channel and of course on our website very soon.
See
Thank you
you.
very
Thank you.
much, everyone.
Bye bye.